Hello, welcome to Tarot and Tea Tuesday. I've done something different and I feel like it's a bit of a fishbowl situation happening here. So, yeah, don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, here we are. Hi, so I'm a bit late. I don't know, technical issues. You'd think I'd get on top of it. I really feel like I'm bound to have some technical issues every week. So thanks for your patience. I am drinking today cardamom tea. Well, an infusion. Oh, it's so subtle, like the color of it. It's just like, I reckon I used maybe 10 cardamom pods, hot water. And then once they'd soaked for a little while, I kind of normally, okay, so sometimes I use cardamom in coffee and I'll like bite it so that it opens up the flavor to the hot water. In this instance, I let it soak for a little while and then I sort of like squished them into the water, squished them open in the water. But yeah, it's sort of like a weak infusion, even with maybe 10 pods sitting there for about 10 minutes. So here's to cardamom. Oh, so good. I really felt like a chai, but I really couldn't be bothered making one. So this was I was like, what is it about the chai that I really want? Chai is an easy, quick sort of alternative to coffee for me in the place that I work. But it's a very complex, I realize it's a very complex combination of spices. And when I really sat and thought about it, it wasn't cinnamon that I wanted. I was almost going to do star anise, but it was the cardamom that I really wanted. So, yeah, for that sort of warming, soothing to the digestion aspect of it. But also I know I've been biting the inside of my mouth and it's good for mouth sores. So I thought it might be another good reason for it. And I think it's also anti-inflammatory. I've complained about my body a lot, menopause and getting older, but anytime I can get anti-inflammatory into me, I am doing that. So I know it's got that, and also antioxidants, which I think just living in the world that we live in today, antioxidants are a must. Whenever you can get them into your body, you should be doing that. So yeah, that's they're the logical reasons, but I just had a feeling I wanted chai and I didn't know what it was about the chai I wanted. And it is cardamom now that I'm drinking it. It's kind of refreshing as well in the mouth. It's got a really refreshing flavor to it. So there we go. Thanks, cardamom. We've got so it's really pretty close to, it is just after the new moon. And it's kind of like the astrological new year because it's like the dark of the moon in Aries, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the I am, the beginning, the let's start this whole cycle kind of sign. And then we've got that aspect of the moon as well happening right now, although we've sort of just shifted into Taurus, I think today or late yesterday. But it is that beginning of the astrology, beginning of the moon, and also beginning of the week-ish. It just feels like that, the beginnings of things happening, and I really want to focus on that with our reading today. We've got the sun in Aries and the moon in Taurus, so I feel like too there's elements of feeling inspired and tapping into who we are and how that kind of affects our feelings, or not our feelings, but what kind of like space we want to create for ourselves and what is already active in that space, how we conduct ourselves within the world that we have put ourselves into. I want to be thinking about those things. Just I really feel like there just needs to be a little fire. This Aries, kind of excited about this Aries sun period of time. So I just feel like that's maybe why I've been craving a bit of warming digestive warming is I've just been feeling a little bit stagnant. No one's asked me any questions, so that's what we're going to go with. Something to do with inspiration, beginning of new cycles, and really understanding who we are and what we're doing in the spaces we're in. Okay, on that note, I didn't even tell you about the cards. We are, these are really cool cards. Look at the backs of those. These are the, what are they called? The Arthurian Tarot, or the Legend of Arthur, something, the Arthurian Tarot. The author and illustrator of these cards is Anne-Marie Ferguson. Anne-Marie Ferguson. I don't play with these a lot. I did go through a period maybe 25 years ago of being pretty obsessed with the Arthurian legend. And I got these cards during that time. It's just symbolically, it's infected so much of the culture that I've been raised in, the Arthurian legends. And it was really interesting to sort of look at how those stories were sort of altered and changed to suit whoever is in power at the time. So anyway, that's why I got these cards. And they're really cool because the pictures are sweet, lovely pictures, imagery. I've got too much sun. I've got a window behind the computer. But they're lovely cards that are, each one is like a scene. It depicts a scene from the many, many tales that are part of the Arthurian legend. Very old English symbolism, imagery, lots of people, but very, very much based on the stories around King Arthur and his round table. Oh, there's a door that's banging, bang, bang, banging, just to keep us here and grounded. And there's a cat meowing as well. Let me pull this card. Eight of Swords. Oh, gosh, Eight of Swords. Okay. We've got here, it is Guinevere at the stake. I'll try to get the angle right so you can kind of see. Poor old Guinevere there. And who's that looking? Oh, okay, so there is a hooded man binding her to this stake, making sure she's truly bound. She's got all of her ankles are bound with gold chain. She's got her damsel in distress face on. So from what I can remember of this tale, Guinevere is, obviously she's married to King Arthur, but her lover is Lancelot. And there was a lot of contention around that. But most of the stories are interpreted as they were very close, and Arthur was okay with it, whatever was going on. But most of them say that they were lovers, Lancelot, and it was Lancelot, who was King Arthur's best friend, and Guinevere, who was King Arthur's wife. And not that he was okay with it, but he just turned a blind eye to it. That is how most of the stories relate that triangle of whatever it was. And I think that this is depicting the part of that story, or that arc of the Arthurian legend, where she was called out by someone. Maybe is Mordred the villain in these decks? Mordred's one of, I don't know, depicted maybe as one of Arthur's sons, but not anyway a nemesis character, is tying her to the stake, called her out for it, and Arthur could do nothing but have his wife burned at the stake for treason. I think that's how the story goes. So this is her being tied to the stake. I'm pretty sure in that story Lancelot comes and saves her, but it's the end of like the round table bond that was formed during King Arthur's reign. It was when, because Lancelot went in and I think he just like killed everyone on the way to save her from being burned at the stake. Not everyone, but a lot of his brothers from the Round Table. So I think it was kind of like the end of that period of time. So yeah, I think this card, the Eight of Swords in the tarot, is so swords are like usually you'll see someone's tied up with swords around them. And it's this thing of being trapped, being stuck, if we're relating to Guinevere in this image here, in this part of the story. It's about being bound and stuck in a situation or in a place and trying to, the swords is like it's represents the element of air and our cognition, our ability to think and process things through our logical mind. And I want to say that, like, in the situation where you're bound and stuck, this card is saying it's time to actually like reason with the situation as opposed to react emotionally to the situation. So, because there's always the consequences when you kind of go charging in to free some aspect of yourself from an emotional standing point. There's going to be consequences, like there'll be a breaking apart of something, which might not be a bad thing. But this card, I feel like, is about, like, you know, there is a way. There's a way to get through it and around it and out of it, and to be liberated from whatever the situation is. It's just a matter of being patient and still and figuring it out. So if I'm thinking about this time that we find ourselves in, I'm in autumn, beginning of autumn where I am. It's also the first of a calendar month as well today. So there's a lot, like I mentioned before, there's a lot of these beginning aspects, onsets of cycles. I feel like a way to liberate is to not repeat the same cycles over and over again. I said to someone that we had family dinner last night, and I said to someone, which is coming back to me now, that's the sign of madness, doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. And I feel like that's a pretty good lesson coming from this aspect of liberating, being equipped to liberate yourself because you've figured it out yourself. And also the beginnings of all of these new things, and trying not to be re-trapping ourselves. So that's what I would advise from this card today is, let's take some time today to just sit and think about where we feel stuck. For me, it was digestively, but also like the warming aspect of the cardamom, where we can create warmth and bring movement to ourselves. And I want to say, like, really look at where you are in terms of your career, your home environment, the physical spaces that you occupy, and how are they, do they give you a sense of freedom, or are they making you feel trapped or contained beyond what your limits, beyond where you would like to be held and contained? Really question the spaces that you're occupying and how you're physically, emotionally, and mentally responding to those spaces. And find a way just by focusing on all of that, find a way to create liberation for yourself, to lift yourself out of anything that feels stuck, to free yourself a little bit from anything that might be holding you back. And I feel like in this way, where we can sort of, instead of Lancelot coming in and slaying everyone on the way to save us, we can actually just undo those chains ourselves and let ourselves go. That's my advice for today. Here's to Cardamom. Here's to Guinevere and the Arthurian Legend Tarot. Have a really great week. I am also doing tarot school, the Hedge Witchery School of Tarot, every Wednesday night. If you're interested, send me a message or go to my Linktree, Alison Bramich, and you will see how to sign up for that there. Every Wednesday night, Melbourne time, for 1 hour, we are delving deep into tarot. So join me there. Here's to Tuesday. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye.